The last time I spoke with you on this medium, I pointed out that the Pentagon is taking over our foreign policy. I warned and I begged that you take it over, which is where it belongs, which is in your departments in the Foreign Office, and to be sure that Hillary Clinton is also following your desire for peace. I honestly believe that you would like peace and get out of all the wars, but the compromises you are making are dragging you further in. You've been having a to and fro battle with the Pentagon since the report on September the 2nd. After that September the 2nd report, you sent 2 emissaries over to have a talk with Hu Jintao in Beijing. Both the emissaries and you made very distinct statements about using diplomacy and even extra efforts to use diplomacy in special areas. That was then followed by another statement by the Pentagon. And you have made an additional statement about having effective relationships with China. Then comes a new phase. The push and shove of the military is taking a forward step. And yesterday I read a story that came from Australia in which we show the moves being taken by the military in order to establish a military group and base in the waterways of Asia, East Asia, North and South, and to shore up U.S. position there, with the U.S. asking for a position on ASEAN, which is Asian countries, where it doesn't belong, and with the U.S. insisting on becoming a part of all of the deliberations that take place in East Asia. Well, it is extremely dangerous. And I think your move now, which is I hope you're not behind it, is to have the congressional request that the total shipments from China should be subjected to tariff increases, something that would have to go to the World Trade Organization and will certainly not put a good face forward for our own country. Furthermore, with a lot of diplomacy, many other things can happen which will slow up the process, but you are not taking a simple, straightforward stand that you are going to use diplomacy in arranging differences between China and Washington, between Beijing and Washington. It is an extremely dangerous situation if we are moving into military alliances in the waters in and south of China. We send ships into the China Sea, so the Chinese are building submarines in the China Sea. They're not in the Atlantic or the Pacific or around the Philippines. And I think that Hu Jintao is a very important human being who understands how to negotiate and how to make concessions. For instance, he's making concessions to many of their trading partners who in some way are losing out in their fair trade operation. And so they're making special deals with them on selling them things and purchasing distribution, which will balance the differences between the two. They'll try everything, and you're not doing enough to work together with them. You're allowing the right wing, which is now in dominating the military, because they have been right along, and they were running the show. So I wrote a letter after I read the full statement of 2 contenders on policy of Australia. And I'm going to read the letter, which I have now begun to distribute. It's being distributed in many different channels. Dear colleagues, it is with great pain that I must share with you a story originating in Australia on U.S.-China rivalry, which has provoked a heated debate. The writer deals with a pro-U.S. political leader and foreign editor named George Sheridan, and an independent Australian long-time foreign policy and defense analyst, Hugh White, who reveals U.S. intentions to form military alliances in East Asia seas aimed at China. The details are frightening. The next thing we will probably hear is a Pentagon, Clinton, and unfortunately Obama explanation that China is responsible for our failure to resolve the economic crisis. Why not? After all, China seems to have resolved it in developing its own economy, so why not distort the picture in a not well-informed USA? We must work to organize and reorganize the mass movement that supported Obama and got him to fulfill their desires, which he fawned upon to gain the presidency. But he has allowed foreign policy to shift into the hands of the Pentagon, which started a campaign with its report on September the 2nd, placing China as a main enemy, reflecting Bush's statement that China is the main enemy of the USA. On the other hand, how much more bushy will we allow Obama to become? We must demand that he live up to the promise of creating a livable USA and a livable world. I still have faith in the sensibility of Hu Jintao, the head of the Chinese government and its Communist Party, to find diplomatic means of handling U.S. aggression, both economic and now military. It is not only his neo-Marxist approach, but also the 5,000-year history and culture of China, which imbues them with a sense and knowledge of avoiding conflicts outside of their own country, because not only once did they ever send a soldier out of their country, and that was for 2 weeks into South Korea, and they pulled them out when the UN asked them to do so. Now, this is an alarm, and I hope you read and move to help everyone understand the danger and need for a mass movement for peace in our country. Now, we have shown you on the screen where to get a copy of the story from Australia. But if you cannot pick it up, you can send me an email at sjgluck, G-L-U-C-K, all one word, at AOL.com. That is sjgluck at AOL.com. And we shall immediately respond. This is the most important thing for our children and our children's children, for peace. Thank you.